I was not a friend. I was someone who had interviewed him and at the time really had a lot of compassion for him. And
those feelings about him changed over the years?
The feelings didn't change. In terms of my sense of compassion for him, what I felt was a sense of sadness. I never knew, what the truth was, as none of us now will ever know what the truth was. But anytime anybody has allegations of child abuse against them, that causes me to take a pause.
Right.
In early 1993, television history was about to be made. Michael Jackson was not just a musician. He was a global phenomenon, yet despite his unmatched fame, he remained one of the most private celebrities in the world. For over 14 years, he had avoided giving a major televised interview about his personal life. The mystery surrounding him had only grown bigger as newspapers and tabloids continued to speculate about his appearance, childhood, relationships, and the person behind the legendary performances. Then came Oprah Winfrey. At that time, Oprah had already transformed daytime television. But her journey to becoming one of the most influential interviewers in the world had started years earlier with a much smaller platform. In 1984, she became the host of AM Chicago, a struggling local morning program on Wells TV. Within a short period, Oprah completely changed the show's fortunes, turning it from a low-rated program into the top-rated talk show in Chicago. Her success quickly attracted attention beyond television. One of the people who noticed her talent was legendary music producer Quincy Jones. After seeing Oprah on television, Jones encouraged her to audition for a major film project, the adaptation of Alice Walker's novel The Color Purple. The opportunity changed Oprah's career forever. She was cast as Sophia, delivering a performance that earned widespread critical praise, including Academy Award and Golden Globe nominations. During the production of the film, Oprah developed close relationships with many members of the cast and crew, especially Quincy Jones. That connection would later become an unexpected bridge between Oprah and Michael Jackson. However, Hollywood was not where Oprah's future would be built. After signing a national television deal, her program was expanded and renamed The Oprah Winfrey Show. When the show launched nationwide in 1986, it quickly became a television powerhouse, eventually surpassing long-established competitors and becoming America's leading daytime talk show. But Oprah's success was not only because of celebrity interviews or dramatic conversations. Her greatest strength was her ability to make people feel comfortable enough to reveal parts of themselves they usually kept hidden. Unlike traditional journalists who focused mainly on tough questioning, Oprah created an environment based on emotion, personal stories, and vulnerability. As Time magazine described her style, her strength came from curiosity, humor, and empathy, qualities that often encouraged guests to share things they never expected to discuss publicly. This approach would eventually lead her to some of the biggest interviews in entertainment history. And one of the most important connections would come through Michael Jackson's close friend, Elizabeth Taylor. In 1988, Oprah interviewed the legendary actress, hoping to create another unforgettable television moment. However, the conversation did not go as planned. Elizabeth Taylor, known for protecting her privacy, had placed strict limits on what could be discussed, especially regarding her personal relationships. The interview became uncomfortable, with short answers and tense moments leaving Oprah feeling that she had failed to connect with one of Hollywood's biggest icons. Years later, however, Elizabeth Taylor returned to Oprah's show for her 60th birthday celebration in 1992. This time, everything was different. The conversation became open, emotional, and deeply personal. The experience repaired their relationship and showed Oprah that even the most guarded celebrities could open up when they felt understood. That renewed connection with Elizabeth Taylor would eventually help bring Oprah closer to the biggest interview opportunity of her career. Michael Jackson. At the time, Michael was facing intense public pressure. The media constantly focused on his changing appearance, his lighter skin tone, and rumors about his personal life. Stories about him had become increasingly extreme, creating an image of Michael Jackson that he felt was completely disconnected from reality. Michael had released statements, taken legal action against false reports, and tried to defend himself publicly. But nothing seemed to stop the growing speculation. For years, he had remained silent, hoping the attention would fade. Instead, it only became louder. Eventually, Michael realized that staying quiet was no longer an option. If the world was going to judge him, he wanted people to hear his side directly from him. And then, according to Oprah's own account, something unexpected happened. The phone rang. On the other end was Michael Jackson himself. The most private entertainer on the planet was personally reaching out. Not to a journalist he barely knew, but to Oprah Winfrey, and that decision would create one of the most watched interviews in television history. After years of avoiding personal interviews, Michael Jackson had many options. He could have chosen any major journalist in the world, Barbara Walters, a traditional news anchor, or another respected broadcaster could have conducted the interview. But Michael wanted something different. He did not want to sit inside a cold television studio under bright lights, answering questions from someone he barely knew. If he was finally going to reveal the person behind the superstar image, he wanted the conversation to happen somewhere he felt comfortable, inside his own home, surrounded by his own environment, at Neverland Ranch. And according to Oprah Winfrey, that personal connection was one of the reasons the interview became possible. Through mutual relationships with people like Quincy Jones and Elizabeth Taylor, Michael appeared to feel that Oprah would approach his story differently. She was not just interested in headlines. Her interviewing style was built around personal conversations, emotional honesty, and allowing guests to explain themselves. Eventually, both sides agreed on the details. The location was set, the date was chosen, and one of the biggest television events of the decade was about to begin. For Oprah, the opportunity was unlike anything she had experienced before. She had interviewed presidents, celebrities, and some of the most famous people in the world. But entering the gates of Neverland was something completely different. Years later, Oprah described the moment as almost unreal. She compared arriving at Michael Jackson's private estate to stepping into a scene from The Wizard of Oz. The size of the property, the atmosphere, and the idea that she was entering the private world of the world's biggest entertainer left her amazed. In early 1993, Oprah and her production team arrived at Neverland Ranch to prepare for the upcoming television special. The timing was perfect. Michael Jackson was already at the center of worldwide attention after his legendary Super Bowl halftime performance, and the interview was scheduled to air shortly afterward. The anticipation was enormous. Everyone wanted to know one thing. Would Michael Jackson finally reveal the truth about the rumors, the mystery, and the person behind the image? Before the broadcast, some media reports claimed that Oprah had been given restrictions about certain questions and that Michael's team wanted specific topics avoided. Those claims were later denied, but the speculation only increased public curiosity. When the night finally arrived, Oprah admitted she felt more nervous than she had ever felt during an interview. Even after years of hosting a successful television show, standing next to Michael Jackson with millions of people watching around the world created a different kind of pressure. She later recalled that when she spoke the words, "live," around the world, her nerves immediately took over. But once the first question was asked, the tension began to disappear. Interestingly, Michael Jackson appeared surprisingly calm. Despite rarely speaking publicly about his private life, he told Oprah that he was not nervous. That confidence helped both of them settle into the conversation. And then, for the first time on such a massive platform, Michael began discussing the experiences that shaped him. He talked about growing up as a child star and losing the normal childhood that most people take for granted. Behind the fame, the music, and the performances was someone who had spent much of his life under intense pressure. One of the most emotional parts of the interview came when Michael discussed his relationship with his father, Joe Jackson. Michael described a childhood filled with strict discipline, fear, and emotional pain. He explained that although he loved his father, there was still a distance between them. He famously expressed the complicated feelings he carried. He loved his father, but he never truly felt that he knew him. For Oprah, the honesty of that moment was surprising. She later said that Michael's body language changed when discussing his father, especially the way he looked away, showing that the memories still carried emotional weight. Another major topic was the biggest mystery surrounding Michael's appearance. For years, tabloids had questioned why his skin seemed lighter and why his facial features had changed. Many stories suggested explanations that Michael strongly rejected. During the interview, he finally addressed the rumors himself. Michael explained that he suffered from vitiligo, a condition that affects skin pigmentation. He said it was something he could not control, and that the rumors suggesting he was trying to change his identity deeply hurt him. For Michael, this was not just a discussion about appearance. It was about feeling misunderstood by the world. Oprah later reflected that at the time, many people knew very little about vitiligo. The public saw a dramatic physical change, but they did not understand the medical reason behind it. The conversation also turned toward plastic surgery. Michael acknowledged that he had undergone some procedures, but insisted that the public had exaggerated the extent of the changes. He denied many of the rumors surrounding his appearance, and explained that he struggled with seeing himself in the mirror. Behind the famous face was someone who was not comfortable with how he was perceived. But perhaps one of the most personal moments came when Oprah asked about Michael's romantic life. At the time, the public was fascinated by the mystery surrounding him. People wanted to know who he dated, whether he had relationships, and what existed beyond the carefully protected public image. Oprah eventually asked a question that even she admitted was uncomfortable. Was Michael Jackson a virgin? Michael did not give a direct answer. Instead, he explained that some parts of life were deeply personal and not meant for public discussion. For him, privacy was something worth protecting. As the interview continued, the audience was given a rare look inside Neverland. The conversation moved through his private amusement park and eventually into his home theater. There, Oprah witnessed something millions of fans had only seen through television screens. Michael Jackson performing his legendary moonwalk. For Oprah, watching the move happen in front of her was a surreal experience. It was not just a dance step, it was a cultural moment that had defined an entire generation. Near the end of the conversation, Oprah asked Michael about his purpose in life. His answer revealed how deeply he viewed music and art. Michael explained that he wanted to use his talent to bring love, harmony, and inspiration to people around the world. The interview ended up becoming one of the biggest television events ever recorded. According to Nielsen ratings, Michael Jackson Talks to Oprah attracted around 90 million viewers, making it one of the most watched television interviews in history. The impact was immediate. The interview helped reshape public perception of Michael Jackson, while also giving Oprah one of the defining moments of her career. Looking back, Oprah said she remembered Michael as someone passionate about his work, passionate about life, and someone who wanted to make a positive impact on the world. At that moment, she believed she had connected with him. She even admitted that she felt she could become his friend because she believed he was being genuine. But that friendship never truly developed. And only months later, everything surrounding Michael Jackson changed. A new controversy would place him at the center of worldwide attention once again. This time, the conversation would not be about music, fame, or Neverland. It would become the moment that changed how the world viewed Michael Jackson, and eventually changed how many Jackson supporters viewed Oprah Winfrey. Only a few months after Michael Jackson's historic interview with Oprah Winfrey, his life entered one of the most difficult periods of his career. In 1993, allegations of child abuse against Michael Jackson became worldwide news. For the first time, the conversation around Michael was no longer focused on his music, his performances, or his extraordinary success. Instead, his name became connected with one of the most serious and sensitive issues imaginable. And this created a complicated situation for Oprah Winfrey. Long before the allegations involving Michael Jackson, Oprah had publicly shared her own experience of childhood abuse. Over the years, she became one of the most recognized voices speaking about child protection and the importance of survivors being heard. She dedicated multiple programs to the subject, supported organizations focused on preventing child abuse, and used her platform to bring attention to an issue that many people were afraid to discuss publicly. Because of that history, Oprah faced a difficult position. She had only recently met Michael Jackson on a personal level, but she was also someone who had built a public identity around supporting victims of abuse. According to some observers, this made it almost impossible for her to publicly defend Michael while the details of the case were still developing. Instead of becoming involved in the controversy, Oprah chose to stay away from making public statements about Michael's innocence or guilt. For many Jackson supporters, however, that silence felt different. They believed that someone who had once shared such a personal conversation with Michael should have shown more support during one of the darkest moments of his life. Despite the controversy surrounding Michael, the 1993 interview had a massive impact on Oprah Winfrey's career. The special proved that she could handle more than traditional daytime conversations. It gave her credibility as an interviewer capable of having serious, emotional discussions with some of the world's most famous people. Following that success, Oprah moved beyond celebrity entertainment and began focusing on deeper subjects. Her show explored topics including health, relationships, spirituality, social issues, and personal struggles. She became known as someone celebrities trusted when they wanted to discuss the most private parts of their lives. But years later, the relationship between Oprah and Michael Jackson would enter another complicated chapter. In 2003, after journalist Martin Bashir's documentary Living with Michael Jackson brought renewed attention to Michael's relationship with children, Oprah addressed the controversy on her own program. During the discussion, Oprah did not publicly declare Michael guilty. However, she expressed concern about certain behaviors shown in the documentary, particularly Michael's views about boundaries between adults and children. Her position was based less on judging the legal case and more on discussing child safety and the broader issue of protecting children. But for many people close to Michael Jackson, this was another moment where they felt Oprah was moving away from him. Then came 2005. Michael Jackson was facing a highly publicized trial after being accused of child molestation. The entire world was watching. During this period, Oprah continued discussing the subject of child abuse on her programs. According to Michael's brother Randy Jackson, this became a turning point. Randy claimed that when the jury was still deciding Michael's fate, Oprah's decision to air a program about pedophilia made Michael feel deeply disappointed. From the Jackson family's perspective, it was not simply a television discussion. They believed Oprah had chosen a sensitive moment involving Michael's case to attract public attention. This belief contributed to the idea among some Jackson supporters that Michael no longer trusted Oprah. However, Oprah's supporters argued that her focus was never about attacking Michael Jackson personally. They believed she was addressing a wider social issue that she had discussed for years. In 2009, Michael Jackson's sudden death changed the public conversation once again. Millions of fans around the world mourned the loss of one of the greatest entertainers in history. During this period, Oprah reflected on her famous 1993 interview with Michael. She dedicated a special episode of her show to remembering the superstar and spoke about the impression he had left on her. She described Michael as someone who was deeply passionate about music, creativity, and his desire to bring something positive to the world. But the complicated relationship between Oprah and the Jackson family did not end there. In 2010, Oprah received access to Michael Jackson's former family home in Encino for an interview with his mother, Katherine Jackson, and his 3 children. The interview created controversy within parts of the Jackson family. Some relatives felt uncomfortable with Oprah being given access to Michael's home, and especially with his children appearing publicly for the first time. They believed Michael had spent much of his life protecting his children from intense media attention, and they questioned whether he would have approved of the decision. However, Paris Jackson later appeared to have a different view. 2 years later, she agreed to speak with Oprah again for Oprah's next chapter. The biggest controversy, however, came in 2019. When the documentary Leaving Neverland was released, it reignited public debate about Michael Jackson. The film featured allegations from Wade Robson and James Safechuck, who described their experiences and accused Michael Jackson of sexual abuse. After the documentary gained worldwide attention, Oprah hosted the television special After Neverland, featuring discussions with the documentary's director Dan Reed and the two accusers. For Oprah, the focus was not only Michael Jackson. She argued that the larger issue was understanding how child abuse happens and why society often struggles to confront it. During the special, Oprah told viewers that the conversation should move beyond only debating Michael Jackson, and instead focus on protecting children and recognizing patterns of abuse. The reaction was immediate. Many Jackson fans strongly criticized Oprah, accusing her of giving credibility to allegations against Michael, without examining the evidence they believed supported his innocence. Members of Michael's family also condemned her involvement. Jermaine Jackson publicly criticized media figures, including Oprah, arguing that they accepted the claims in Leaving Neverland without properly questioning the facts, evidence, or credibility of the accusations. To Michael's supporters, Oprah had gone from the person who once gave Michael a platform to someone they believed was helping damage his legacy. But to Oprah and those who supported her position, the issue was never about one celebrity. It was about a much larger conversation surrounding child protection, accountability, and how society responds when powerful public figures face serious accusations. And that is why the relationship between Michael Jackson and Oprah Winfrey remains one of the most debated stories in modern celebrity history. But after everything that happened, one question still remains. Was Oprah Winfrey simply doing what she believed was right? Or did Michael Jackson's supporters have a reason to feel betrayed? The answer depends on how you see the story. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Was this a case of journalistic responsibility? Or was it a friendship that ended in disappointment? If you enjoyed this deep dive into the untold stories behind Michael Jackson's life, make sure to subscribe to Neverland Vault for more rare moments, hidden controversies, and stories from the world of the King of Pop. Thanks for watching.